Honourable Minister Ora, Honourable Member of Parliament Swami, Additional Secretary Dr. Panda, Dr. Gupta, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honour, and it's really a pleasure to be here today. This is a very important event, a Silver Jubilee celebration of Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India. First, to you, Dr. Harald Gupta, my heartfelt congratulations to you and your team. It's with your undaunted perseverance, dedicated efforts, and visionary leadership that you've made the difference for so many women and the newborn while promoting breastfeeding and recommended policy amendments. We've known you for many years, and we've been impressed with your contribution, both nationally and internationally, in protecting, supporting, and promoting breastfeeding. We've just heard what I would even call a humble description by yourself of your achievements, and I really want to congratulate you for these. Allow me to give a little bit of a Swedish perspective and a perspective on these issues from my own country. We've been Sweden through SIDA has been promoting breastfeeding promotion programs, not only in India, but in many other countries. And the partnerships, including with the BPNI, have been very valuable, as we've seen the BPNI expanding its services in the Asia region. Again, congratulations. I have learned and understood that the healthcare sector in India is driven primarily by various government programs that emphasize universal coverage and affordable healthcare. The government is taking commendable actions to reach the unreached and to strengthen the primary healthcare set up in the remote parts of India for better access. This is a huge challenge given the large number of people. If I take my own perspective and look at the challenges and compare with my own country's population, of course, it's a daunting comparison. We know that breastfeeding has the single greatest impact on child survival and is the most natural, the safest, and often the simplest way to feed the baby. Improved infant and young child feeding begins with ensuring the health and nutritional status of the women in their own right. In a broad sense, I believe this is a women's empowerment and actually a gender issue of greatest importance. And therefore, since it is a gender issue and an empowerment issue, involving men as supporting partners is fundamental to improving the situation of girls, women, and children. My personal perspective is that, being myself a father and a grandfather, I have experienced and recognized the importance of the support, joy, and companionship that a father can and should provide, not least during the first year of a newborn. Again, on a Swedish perspective, in my own country, up until the mid-1930s, close to 100 years ago, most children were born at home, and as hospital deliveries increased over the following decades, the proportion of breastfed children started to decrease, which continued up until the beginning of the 1970s. This, of course, was linked to the changing role of women, development towards nuclear families, changing ways of life, etc., similar to what I believe that you're seeing in large parts of India today. In 1973, when the Nursing Mothers Association demanded support and encouragement for breastfeeding, the Swedish National Board of Health and Welfare appointed a committee which initiated a number of breastfeeding promotion activities, health education for health personnel, information for mothers, etc. More recently, in 1993, the Baby Friendly Hospitals Initiative campaigns were introduced in Sweden that were organized by UNICEF and the WHO. This has been quite successful, and almost all hospitals in Sweden are designated baby-friendly. I will certainly acknowledge that we are in this field not without challenges. We do have what is in an international comparison respectable figures. 80% of mothers breastfeed at 4 months of age of the baby. And I have understood that the general figure for breastfeeding is that 97% of mothers in Sweden breastfeed to some extent because they know it's the better for their baby's health and is accepted as a right. Through UN's Convention on Children's Rights, Sweden is obliged to make sure that parents and children are informed and tutored regarding child health, nutrition, benefits of breastfeeding. So when mothers leave the maternity hospital, they're also informed not only about the child health system, but also possibility of contacting a representative of the Mothers Association and talking with another mother. Sweden's baby food industry has also accepted a considerable reduction in sales of breast milk substitutes and has complied with the International Code of Marketing breast milk substitutes. Currently, in 2014, a law based on an EU directive came about which is meant to regulate the marketing of infant formula. Political decisions have been taken to encourage women to work and for them to do so. Sweden is one country which provides general parental leave. All working parents are entitled to 16 months paid leave per child, the cost being shared between the employer and the state. And to encourage greater paternal involvement in a child rearing, a minimum of 2 months out of the 16 is required to be used by, let me call it the minority parent. In practice, of course, usually the father that takes the shorter term of leave of absence. Personally, I do believe that paternity leave should be encouraged. It's important for men to assist at home during the time of mother's recovery and to connect with the newborn. In Sweden, we have a well-developed maternity and child health system with maternity and baby-friendly hospitals. This responsibility of provision of health facilities lies within the municipalities, county councils. Just as in India, you have the municipality and the panchayat who are responsible at the local level. I have taken some of your time for sharing what we believe are practices that we try to live up to. Not to imply necessarily that India should go the Swedish way. Policies and practices are always contextual and relevant to individual countries. However, I think that experience sharing is a two-way street. We learn from each other and from our different historical perspectives and starting points. As countries, Sweden and India are, of course, very different and have very different starting points, but we share a long and positive partnership, and we continue to do so in broadening and deepening relations. There is a lot to learn and benefit from each other. So I'll just stop here. Again, congratulate the BPNI for their Silver Jubilee and wish you my best wishes to further take up this challenge of mobilizing people to demand support for women to breastfeed. Thank you very much.